hello, everybody. Someone was literally walking by and I was busy looking out the window. I hope that you are all doing well. Today is lovely Monday. It's also the eclipse and it's also the equinox and it's also the anniversary, 4-year anniversary of my business. Yes, it is. And I'm super excited to be able to share that with you all. And I love that it falls on a Monday. Um, as you know, Monday is all about motivation. And today it's Creative Sparks, Fuel Your Artistry with Music and Magic. And I just am feeling like there's been so much energy around creativity, accepting new paths, that I wanted to create space today for people to ask their questions live, share a little bit about my own journey. Oh my gosh, bringing up such a large package, and how I actually manifested a life that is full of art, and opportunities and things like that, and what it really took for me to get to that stage. Because I do feel like even as an artist, there's this journey of self-worth and empowerment and overcoming that belief that it's actually possible for you. And once you're kind of in that lane for yourself, you become quite unstoppable. So I really wanted to talk about it. Hi, Victoria. How are you? How's your equinox going? How's your eclipse going? I made some fresh Jamaica today with mango and lemongrass and other roots and things like that to help. And I feel quite amazing. I feel amazing. So I just wanted to share, because I always feel like it's quite relevant that the situation happens before I go live. But I was hanging out with one of my friends this past weekend as I was resting and doing all the things. And I was with some of her friends as well. We ran into one of them at the beach and they asked what I did. And so I was like, oh, I'm an artist and I'm an activist. And that's usually how I start things. And then people are like, oh, what kind of art? And then I go into how the two are like infused and spirituality and all that sort of stuff. And they're really excited. And they're like, do you sell your art? Do you blah, 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 blah. Like all this stuff. And then my friend tells me later, she's like, I really like that you said that you're an artist. And she's like, I really want to become an artist. So I really want to embody the artistry within myself. And you know, sometimes it's literally a matter of feeling comfortable enough to tell people that you are an artist, so that one, you can accept your own identity, but two, you're telling the universe that that is a path that you've chosen. And so more wealth and opportunities are going to come down that channel. And three, people can find you, right? Like if you're too scared to be an artist, you're going to block that. Just like, you know, some of the energy we talked about. And she's like, I do all the things, like I just don't talk about them, or I don't share it with people or anything like that. Read this comment. Saturday was really, really challenging, but today has been relaxing. I got much work done today. How are you feeling? Oh, what was challenging? This energy has been bananas. This energy has been bananas. My Saturday was weird, also super weird. The Saturday to Sunday cleansing portal dip thing was really strange. I'm feeling amazing today. I'm going to be sharing about it in my Substack. But the ancestors did something super wild. And I ended up in the jungle, and I also went on a date. So it was a lot of fun, and I called in the energy of cacao and had many beautiful moments. and it just happened so fast. I was like, oh, I'm gonna rest, and it was very restful and restorative, and I didn't rush or anything like that. And I feel very whole today. I feel very like back to myself. And it's also like a Hindu holiday for the next like 10 days. So I'm aligning with that energy as well. And my mentor and I had a chat and caught up, and it was just really great. Thanks for asking. It's cool you got a lot of work done today. Hi Dee, how are you? Sounds amazing. The jungle. Oh my goodness. Yes. The jungle. Oh my gosh, the jungle. I also made a tarantula friend. I'm giving away everything from my Substack. It's fine. I'll just share it with you. I made a tarantula friend. It didn't bite me. It just was hanging with me. And my friend was like, "Wow!" I was like, "Oh, oh." Y'all are so sweet. Dee, how are you doing? How's your energy? I've been having near-death experiences, and it was really intense, but I'm okay. Oh no, it's been really weird energy. It's like very like submersive into the shadow, breaking things, like fully breaking things, rebuilding things. Yeah, it's like a bulldozing energy that was there, and then now it's like the restorative energy. And even today, like I wouldn't recommend being around a lot of people or doing stuff like that. So I'm glad you're okay. I'm really glad you're okay. But yeah, this energy is very different. Do your protective practices. I've also decided from now through like rest of fall, I'm gonna help people build up their like Grimm's or ancestor books. Obviously, each class is like that, but I'm gonna help build up the things that you need, especially going into the next year and manifestation. So this next class, I really want to go into like wealth herbalism, like Plant Allies series. And I said I was going to announce it today, and I am. And so I'm going to start putting it into the calendar because you all know I accidentally put Tarot 101 for like the rest of the year. So there was that. I'm going to fix it. The jungle. I've always wanted to be in the jungle. Yes, I love the jungle. How are you, Erin? How are you? How are you since class? It was so great to have you there. You're always exploring. I love it so much. Yeah, the jungle. It was just like the ancestors were like, oh, like things were like you could see the energy shifting throughout the day. It was like this event was canceled, and then we ended up here, and then we were like, let's just jump in the water, and then like then we're like, oh, look who's here, and then it was like very like set in stone in a way, but you had to like really flow with the energy. And then before I knew it, I was in the jungle for like hours, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun with all these people. I was like, yay! Yeah, it was really strange. I saw Jesus when I died for like a few minutes, and it was so nice. Wait, what happened to you? What happened, Dee? I had a dream this rising. Can I ask your advice on it? Absolutely, you can ask. It's crazy because for years I watched near death experiences, and now I've had it. Yeah, it's near death experiences are awful. Um, yeah, they're really awful. Really, really, really awful. I've had a couple. I don't know how I've had a couple. Like most people have like one, but I've definitely had more than one. And each time they were like really big gateways into my spiritual gifts. Um, and we're like not like I wouldn't say necessary, but I learned a lot during that moment. Um, Not in like a, oh, I'm gonna glorify near death experiences. It was like, okay, all of this is real. Like it was, yeah. I hope you are okay. I was at school, and women kept coming into school. There were 5 women in Only two women came in together, though. I fought every last woman that came in. I had a similar dream a few weeks ago. What did the women look like? What did the women look like? A lot of the times buildings are your mind, but you were in a school. So I want to know what the women look like. And I can tell you. I had to take one of my brother's dogs to cross the Rainbow Bridge earlier. Oh, so I'm taking it easy this up. That's wild. My friend was just talking about how before she came here, like yesterday, she was funny. She had to put her mom's dog to sleep, watching Frozen movies and Moana movies and hanging out with this other dog. Aww. Um, Hopefully you can find some joy today. Frozen and Moana are good movies to watch. Even Coco, I always recommend. I don't know if you've ever seen Coco, but it does deal with the ofrenda and like passing on, but passing on in a good way. That's same for me because they teach you a lot. Yeah, they do. They teach you a lot and you see a lot. Um, yeah, like the first one was when I was younger. I feel like that's why my gifts are got so strong when I was really young. Um, I feel like death is no longer a fear, and unease brought to know the fear of death connects to not being connected to God as we are eternal souls. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so like if you don't fear death, it's like you can release a lot. You can release a lot. And then your ego likes to fear everything else. But then you're like, literally, I don't fear death. Why am I fearing taking a leap of faith? you know? Um, and it's like you almost become like you find more peace. And even though like people believe in spirituality or believe in God or believe in the afterlife or the spirit realm or the other realms, it's like they don't fully believe in it sometimes, which I find strange until you know they come through or they go through the veil in that way where it's not on their terms. um yeah, it's super wild. And because I mean, like most of the time people feel their ancestors and all sorts of stuff, but that like connection of we're eternal doesn't click, I feel like, unless you unless you almost die or die for a few minutes or seconds, you know what I mean? I don't know what they look like. They were probably copper skinned. I mean, it definitely feels, and like you were battling aspects of yourself, especially because you were in a school, um, and you can't quite see their faces, meaning they're probably unseen aspects of yourself. Um, if you're doing it in the school, it could be like a spiritual school. I mean, literally, you've been going to Z School for the Gifted before to like educate yourself on yourself. So I feel like your brain is probably processing everything that's happening to you. And then on um, like a spiritual level, there are probably aspects or pieces of your soul that need to be like reintegrated into who you are, because five is such a powerful number. Five is like change, five is star, five like like it's like the actual star, the points of a star, right? And like if you don't have all 5 points, then you don't have the star, like the shape. um so it would be interesting if you lit a candle with a star on it. You wrote a star on it and wrote your name on it and see what happens. That would be fun. It doesn't it feels spiritual but not very spiritual. Like yours actually feels more cognitive. Like you are literally processing and integrating parts of yourself, lost parts of yourself. because usually if you can't see them, it doesn't like quite anchor into anybody or anything. And even if it was an entity, most of the time you can see the entity anyways, because entities always want to show themselves. They're like, I'm an entity. I love Coco. Yeah, me too. I love Coco. It seems like people heavily associated with near-death experiences are vibrating to the number 9 heavily. Yeah, I would say so because it's the closest thing to 10. I love Coco. Maybe I'll watch that next. Yeah, I love Coco so much. My friend, oh, there's the cat. I need to feed the cat as a gift. I was gonna give him a gift. Um, my friend hasn't seen Coco, and I was like, "Homie, you are in Mexico and you haven't seen Coco?" I was like, "If we're literally coming up on October, you need to watch it before Dia de los Muertos." Like, hello. It's like, because she was like, "Why?" Like, because I have a thing about calling the dogs that are not owned like dog takes. So I'm like calling to my own dog, and she didn't understand what I was talking about. Hi, how are you? How's it going? Hi, Sunshine. I'm good. Elmer, how are you? My friend's name is Sunshine. And there's no like word in Spanish for sunshine. Like there's parts of sun and then there's sun, but not sunshine. And so they like to say her name, Sunshune. And I was like, that actually kind of sounds Japanese. I am born in the 5th month on the 15th day, and I'm alive past 5. Oh, you got a whole bunch of change going on. Yeah, it's a lot of, you're meant to go through big changes then. So those are definitely aspects of yourself. Yeah, definitely, definitely aspects um of yourself. I actually haven't watched Coco in a little bit. Okay, but do tell me, friends, what are you focusing on for this equinox, for this eclipse? What are you focusing on today? It's a huge portal. It has been, and the portal is open until tomorrow. So, what are you focusing on? I want you to put it in the chat. A lot of people just get to like a portal and then they don't really do anything. For some reason, they're like, oh, the energy before this was quite strong. And then I'm like, what are you focusing on today? They're like, sleeping. And I'm like, what? Not saying you have to do a lot of things, but like, what are you focusing on? Anybody going to the water? What are you manifesting? What are you getting rid of? What are you calling in? What big healing are you doing? Deleting all my social media pages and starting new. Yes, that is some commitment. I love that. I tried to do that once, and then Spirit told me I actually needed them. And then I deleted all the rest of them. I was like, okay, all of them. Spirit was like, not all of them, but almost all of them. I love that. That's huge commitment. I'm excited for you. Fresh starts. I finally got on the chat on Discord. Yay! I got all sorts of new protection stuff. Yes. You know what I'm hearing? Another one bites the dust. Mm, 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 I've been hearing a lot of music and like some of the same songs with certain people or like certain energies. I'm excited for you. Yes, protect your energy. But what are you calling in? Since you're clearing out stuff, what are you calling in since you're getting rid of all those things? Right? Because this is where the magic comes in once you do the letting go. Feeling peace. The new moon is my favorite phase. Hey, the autumn equinox is my favorite equinox. Yeah, I love that. What do you mean by peace? I want you all to be specific. I want all of you to be specific. You say peace, peace in what? Spirit's gonna give you peace in the on the toilet. You know what I mean? Like, be specific. I want all of you to be specific. Peace what? Peace when? Peace, what's it look like? Dancing. I love it. I took the little dog to the river earlier. He loves playing in the water. Oh. That's precious. I love me a dog. Dogs are so awesome. Also, like, yeah, it must have been probably your energy because that whole dog conversation with my friend was weird. And because it was perfectly aligned with what you just said. And also, I was standing there, the cat keeps jumping up there, and there were like 6 people in the ocean spread out, and 1 person on the sand, and they all had tiny dogs. And I was like, what is this, tiny dog day? And then she started talking about like all the stories. I'm like, this must be someone else's energy because this is just weird. It's like, this doesn't happen. Committing to my rituals. I'm so committed now. I love it. And communicating and listening to spirit. Awesome. Awesome, 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 awesome. Follow through, commitment, rituals. Peace on the toilet. It's true. Like, you really have to be specific. Like, one time I needed a treadmill for my dogs. Literally, the next rising, I went outside and there was a treadmill across the street that said free. I grabbed the treadmill, brought it inside. It worked, kind of, but I wasn't specific. And so it was like kind of bumpy and lumpy. Paulo loved it. Paulo didn't care. Paulo was like, I love all things, run. Like, I'm ready for this, like all the things. But it was like, if had I been more specific, like I was watching, it like popped up on my feed or something about Jim Carrey or whatever. And there's this clip where he's like talking about everybody co-creating, and there's this person in the background, the very far corner. And so he's like, are you aware, you know, that everybody co-created all this stuff together, blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, isn't it interesting how even though we're co-creating all these things together, you manifested the seat in the far back corner instead of like a, you know, a front row seat. Like, kind of like, why would you do that? And so it makes me laugh, like when I hear stuff like that. And I just like remind people, be specific. Like, you need to be specific so the universe knows what you are talking about, because you're way too powerful to just say, like, I want abundance, and spirit's going to give you abundance of whatever you already have. So if you have like fear that day, you could have an abundance of fear like later that day. So it's like, you need to be specific, very specific. That's an excellent question, Z. By peace, I think I mean comfortable in my own skin. Let's go further. What would that look like day to day? How would you move? How would you speak? How would you show up? I'm calling in funds and help to watch the house to make the trip I want to go on this weekend. Good. Yay. You should call in more funds than that. Are you calling in more funds than that in general? Shoot for the stars. How many trips do you have? This is what I want you all to do. Like, how many trips do you need to plan? How many places you got to go? You need more money than that, probably. You love traveling. So, like, do you have like you have, I mean, you don't have to share your number, but like, do you have a number in mind that you're like manifesting, moving towards? I'm just saying, we really gotta, we gotta be specific. You don't want any surprises. You don't want, I mean, good surprises. I mean, bad surprises. No, you want the good surprises. My phone literally said I'm open to blessings and unexpected, whatever. I'm also calling in financial stability. In what sense? Be specific, right? Because even if we say, I want financial stability, spirit will be like, do you want a consistent $2 a week? Or, right? Because that is technically financial stability because it's coming in frequently. So it's like, what does financial stability look like, feel like, and energetically, like, how do you sit within it? Like, what are you able to do with it? When you're doing your scripting, like, what are you spending your money on? Where is it going? Good point. I do love traveling. Yeah, I have several trips I want to take before the end of the year. Okay, what about 5 years from now? It's the equinox, people. It's the equinox. It's like life altering, changing energy. Let's go way past the end of the year, like way past. What are you manifesting for your lifetime? Does anybody know? Is anybody sitting in that energy? Is anybody pulling it in? Like when the universe is not small, right? The universe is small. Our mind thinks small because we think we are small, because our mind tells us we are small. But we are infinite, like the universe. We are limitless. We are limitless, like the universe. So why put limits on your own manifestations? Oh my God, I love that question. Well, right now I'm at peace because I'm allowing myself to do what my body is asking for, which is resting. And I think obeying my body's signals is peace to me. I love that. So honoring your body's signals all the time, all the time. So technically you already manifested them. Or you mean forever? Technically. Yeah, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. Time and financial freedom. Okay, I'm gonna just keep asking you questions. Everybody questions. I'm gonna be more specific. What type of time? What do you need the time for? How much time? Time to do what? Financial freedom in what sense? Freedom to buy a smoothie or freedom to buy a house? Financial freedom to travel and buy a house? Financial freedom to do what you want when you want? Financial freedom to take off 5 years and never work again? Or after the 5 years, or just never again? Or what kind of financial freedom? Yes. Yes, you manifested it? Yes, forever? Yeah, I feel like you're saying forever. I invite you to proliferate the peace. Where else could peace go? I want to travel the universe while still in this realm. That's my ultimate goal in this life. Wow. So do you mean like on a quest, or like a astral quest, a shamanic quest, and a spaceship with NASA? I mean, spirit will deliver it however, but if you say travel the universe, do you mean like with plant allies, or you're just open to it? Financial stability to create a sanctuary for women and children. I see a garden there, a spa, etc. Ah, see, now we are getting specific. What is that? Now we're getting very specific. The more specific you are, the more the opportunities are going to come to you. Like when you do your visualization, see it in detail. See it in detail. See it to the point where it's so real, it is reality, because it is a reality. It's already done. You just have to take the track to get there. But if you're only going to manifest into the end of the year, what happens after that? Where are you going? Where do you want to go? You might as well just put some dreams out there for your entire lifetime. Your entire lifetime. That's the power of this equinox. The power of this equinox is to transform your entire lifetime. And if you want to transform lineages after you, do that too. You know? Hi, Chosen Big Dog. How are you? Where you been? I'm going to watch this back to do my scripting. I mean, never working again unless I wanted to work so I could travel the world learning and experiencing to pass those lessons on. Oh, yay, good. Yeah, really focus on your scripting. I think I'm going to drop some questions in the 144 Discord, the bigger one. I haven't dropped stuff in there for a while, but I have a little bit more time now. I might put some scripting and reflecting questions if people want to do it tonight. Because it's important. It's important. I don't want you all to miss this energy. It's like a once in a lifetime energy. It's a once in a lifetime energy. And all of you have been quantum leaping so quickly, and I can see it, and your life is changing, and all this stuff, that I want you to sit within that timeline more easily. And instead of having to just manifest in a small way. You are not small. You are not just this week. You are not just this moment. You are so much more than that. Like so much more than that. I do not like talking about Oprah because I've fallen big for her. But that phrase where they had said like they just had to embody the energy of like being a millionaire or a billionaire. I don't remember what she is right now. And that's all it took. So it's like instead of manifesting the smaller amounts to get you day to day, manifest the bigger amounts, the larger amounts that are perceived as large, but really it's infinite. It's infinite. You know, one of my favorite things to do with my finances, like the more you work with your energy, the more you will see where your manifestations come in really easily, right? Like I'm very psychic and I also do well with visuals, like on my in my face. So if I can see something, I will usually manifest it. Or if I put the intention out there, I will usually manifest it. So something that I invite all of you to do, if you are manifesting money, do if you don't have a how do you all have like some sort of budgeting document saved for yourself? No, I didn't intentionally manifest it actually, but it's something I've wanted for years. I love that. Sometimes it happens. I want to travel within my spirit. Beautiful. Yeah, a journey to self. A journey to self. See, and the journey to self is interesting because in order to journey to self, you have to remove, you have to go through a journey of having nothing. Like you have to. It is the only way to know who you are. If you want to call in the universe, because the universe is everything and nothing at the same time, like these tangible things are not important. If you want to understand the essence of life and energy, your soul, the universe, its expansiveness, limitlessness, you have to expand beyond the ego. And the ego only wants things, it only wants money, it only like all these things, right? And so in order to know the universe, sometimes the universe will push you to the edge of nothing over and over again because you're wanting to know who you are, right? The spiritual part of you, and to like help you realize that you are not the things, you are not the money, you are not this, right? Um, and sometimes people don't always enjoy that journey, but it's necessary and it's one of the most powerful journeys that you can go through. And I was reflecting on this about um, all the things because like today is the official day of my business anniversary, and I learned so much during the times when I had my ego was telling me I had nothing, even though I still had the world. You know what I mean? I still had life. I still have life, which is the universe. You know, but in order to know myself, I needed to know nothing. I also needed to admit that I know nothing. I needed to understand that there is no understanding. And then I could release myself. And then the lesson was learned. Can you put the link in here for the 144 Discord, please? Yes, absolutely. I'll grab it right now. Do you mean a current budget or what we want our budget to look like? A current budget, but a current budget, like if you have a budgeting tool. Let me get the 144. So there is the link. Should work. Let me know if there's any issues, but it should work. So this is why I've been feeling like or living like a nomad. I've always wanted luxuries, but I've been feeling like I've been denied my whole spiritual journey. This is confirmation and rough at the same time. Yeah, right. Your spiritual journey is spirituality. You don't need things, right? I was having this moment because for years now, like I've been on my spiritual journey for years and years and years. And so I got to this point where I was sitting in someone's house and I couldn't remember for a moment what it was like to have a bunch of stuff, to have a bunch of stuff. Because for so long, even though I've had things, I always give my things away because I don't need things. And if I need clothes and then spirit says give all the things away and then I go give the things away to people who need like it's just energy, right? So you're receiving, sometimes you're carrying things to go to other people's paths, right? Like I have to give some things away here. And I think about my own journey of all the times I was traveling around in different thrift stores and I found the exact thing I needed. And if it wasn't for the person who was called to donate it, right? Like I wouldn't have found it and used it on my path. So like everything is energy. And I was sitting there in that moment. There's men just talking out there about bicycles. I was sitting there in that moment and I looked around and it was almost like I felt claustrophobic for a second because I've grown accustomed now to not having so many things because I'm not attached to them. And I looked at their closet and I was like, I forgot that this is how like people live. Like I was like, there's people who have nothing, right? And then I was like, and then there's people who have a bunch of things, like organizer things. It was like it was such a like in my mind recently because I was like, I only carry what can fit in my luggage. And right now, you can't see it, but I have like a pile of like clothes that I brought. It's like a bag that I'm going to give to a church. And I was looking at my closet. I was looking at my closet and what's hanging in there, two dresses, a bag, and this dress, and this. And I felt so whole. Like I was like, I was like, I don't feel it. Like, I don't, I don't, and I had seen them like other friends of mine, in the past, or like being home with my family, like buying all these things, and I was like, I don't, I like my spiritual journey, like you start to have this like realization that your ego can't run your life anymore, and it's so peaceful because no matter if you have one dress, two dresses, you have all the dresses. Like it's like a weird feeling. It's a very weird feeling. And I saw all these things and I was like, how it's impossible for someone to wear all those things. But I remember a time like that. I remember a time being like, I have more than two pairs of shoes. I had a bunch. I worked in manufacturing, like all this stuff. I remember having all the coolest things and like stuff collecting dust and having video game things. And I'm like, I've got my guitar, my computer. Now I've got three dresses. Like it's like, and I just made a really delicious soup and some fresh jamaica, right? So it's like, I don't like the spiritual journey is so powerful. I invite everybody to go on it, but I invite you to remember that you have to know nothing to know everything. There is no life of peace. If you haven't seen my video that dropped today, it should have gone out today. You'll not know peace unless you heal all these things. And the only way to do that is to remove them. That's the only way. There is no way you can. If you have an addiction to gold, you can't heal and know what life is unless you remove the gold, right? Because then it uncovers emotions about how you are attached to it. Do you see it as leaving? Do you see it as a part of you? Do you freak out? Are you scared? Right? It pulls back another layer of the onion. And then you can really look at it. Wow, that's so lovely. Happy, thank you. Happy anniversary. Do you purposely start your business around the autumn equinox? It was a coincidence. It was a coincidence. I remember sitting at my desk and I was like, I'm over this. And I said to myself, I refuse to let any other person on this earth feel the pain that I have felt. I refuse to let anybody go into another corporate office and report sexual harassment and not be heard, be abused, be body traumatized, have near-death experiences, work for nothing. Like I was so angry, and I was like seeing all the riots and George Floyd and all these things, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. And it just happened to be around the same time. And I was basically doing activist work within the corporations, like being covert, being covert and not getting caught. And I was like coaching people on how to get promotions. I was coaching them on spirituality, and I was coaching them on trauma and like all that stuff. And then I was like fighting the system inside the system because I was like, it's the only way to bring it down. Then I was like, F this, I'm out of here. And I went to like healing after healing after healing, and I connected and I called in my ancestors and I healed and I healed, and then here I am. Do I need money to use the budgeting tool? No. No. So I will tell you one of my favorite tricks, one of my favorite manifestation things, because you have to see how big your energy is. So I would have like an Excel document, and I always anytime I knew that the times I wasn't checking in on my budget, I was in a deep depression. I was in a really deep depression because I love money, like the energy of money and what it can do and how it can help people and how it helps me and how I can like resource stuff and whatever. And so I made like a budget, and it all like I always keep track of everything down to like a T, like the penny, because I'm like, I want to know where it's going, and I'm like, what the fuck is that transaction? What was I doing? Being all willy-nilly? And so basically, I will do like projections on stuff. And what I was doing in the very beginning to see how big my capacity was, I would project into the millions and billions. So I could see the number. I could see the number. I could feel the number. And as I was going, I realized the months I didn't do that, I would hit depression, and my money would go down and all the things. The months I did do it, my money consistently grew. Like it was like I was just in the energy. I would see it, and I was like, oh, we're getting closer to that number. We're getting closer to that number. And then before I knew it, I was out of poverty. But I had to train my energy to see it. I had to train my energy to see it. But it was also around the fact that like I had to also condition myself to be responsible with money. That I had to know about money in order to get the money. I had to know about myself. It wasn't just about that sheet, but it was about the responsibility of the sheet and how I was driving my energy to it, right? Like energy likes like energy. And so if I like money, if I plan money, if I expect money, money always comes. And it grows because I mean, I am a whiz at Excel because I also came out of the sciences. I'm a scientist, so we usually Excel all the time and in manufacturing all the stuff. So it was easy for me to just create it. And it becomes reality, right? It's already there, it's expected, it's a projection. So use tools, like see how your energy works. Um if you manifest money in different avenues a different way, then do that way, but be consistent with it. Don't just be half butt about it. Like you have to be consistent. Like nothing gets in the way of me doing my finances. Nothing get like I literally tell myself this. I'm like, nothing will get in the way of me doing what I need to do in my business. No friends, no family, no bird, no nothing. I'm like, spirit always comes first, and this is my spirit mission. And so if God wills it, I will it, and I will do everything I can. So nothing gets in the way of my budgeting. Nothing gets in the way. Like it's my reality. Like it's conditioned in me to be that way now. So put your energy out there because this is the portal to do it on. Thank you. Yes, hit the like button. Thanks for saying it. You're such a gift. Yes, the one who admits they don't know will never will never learn. Yeah. The universe is limitless. There's no way. It's impossible. I definitely been healing my relationship with money this year. Good. Yeah, healing it with money is important. I went from having so many luxury designer shoe bags, accessories, jewelry in these last 8 years. I felt unloved. I'm starting to release, however, there are still remnants letting go. Yeah, it's normal. It's normal. The same thing happened to me. Same thing happened to me. But it's like energy, it's just energy. It comes back to you. It always comes back to you. But you have to lose it all, lose. You have to remove it all to see yourself naked. To see yourself naked. I was talking about being naked in my last Substack, but like it's just things. It's just things. Like I had a very similar life. I had a very, very beautiful house in a very rich neighborhood. Very rich neighborhood. Like friends who ran with Oprah, like all the things that like I was at after parties that Spike Lee was at, Melissa McCarthy, like I went on yachts, had private tours, like the whole thing, but it didn't I wasn't happy. Like I wasn't happy. Like I could have those things. I had those things. You know what I mean? Like I had those things. I had all the designer stuff and go to China and Hong Kong and New York. I was on the Kleinfeld thing in New York, like all these things. I was like, I'm manifesting, I'm living, I'm like doing all this stuff, and yet I'm crying. I'm like, I'm crying. How am I crying? I'm at like a huge part. Like it was so like, and then I called in my spiritual journey, right? Because that shit doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Yes, like everybody deserves to have safety and things around them, but to know peace is to know yourself. Yourself is not the things. It will never be the things. That's why when you go on your spiritual journey and enlightenment and all these things, the universe takes things away from you because you're not paying attention. You're not paying attention to what's really important. And it hurts and it sucks. And then it's great. And then it's awesome again. Because no matter what happens, you're so resilient and you're fine. Like there is nothing in my mind that goes, this is going to go wrong, because I know it doesn't. It's like it's limitless. And if any fear comes up, sit with it and release it. It's like, oh, thank you for letting me know that was there. I'm gonna go donate my things because I feel myself getting attached. I like it was like and then I started meeting people who were like settled, right? Like settled. And I'm not a settler. Like I will be settled, but I'm a nomad, like many of you. Like I like love to move and like do all the things, but it was like I'm like I like and we look at each other and we're still friends, you know, and they're like, I mean, I signed a lease and I was like, I mean, I signed a short lease. You know, I was like, that's what God told me to do. They're like, how do you live that way? And I'm like, how do you live that way? How do you live that way? I used to know that life, just not right now. I'm in a different phase of my life. And then sometimes your spiritual journey, like spiritual journeys are not in one place for the most of the part, unless your path is to be in that space. But most of the time it requires travel and learning and expanding. Thanks. Yeah, you all should use that trick. I've been reflecting on this exact topic all day today, journey to self, not knowing anything. Thank you for speaking on it. You just unlocked some understanding for me, and happy anniversary. Yay! So happy, Nia. I'm so happy. I've got an Excel spreadsheet that I've started listing all my debts. So now I just need to add the projections for income. I love this idea. I was a tax accountant, so this speaks to me. Yeah. So yeah, but like you know, each time if you have income coming in, like also make sure that you can visibly see your cash on hand, your savings, like all that stuff, like, and watch it grow. Watch it grow. And because where your energy goes, right, it will expand. And so when you can focus on the thing that needs to be paid and like go up, then the money comes. The money comes. Yeah, what you're saying is hitting home. I hated that life when I had all that stuff. Funny how you're talking about this, and it's triggering how I was so depressed and just one out of planet. Yeah, so did I sometimes. So did I. It was really stressful amongst all the good things and having the like perfect wedding, twilighty kind of wedding, perfect dress, perfect veil, nice car, like all the things I didn't want for anything except for happiness. And then I lost my child. And then it was like, uh, my body isn't even happy. So it was all an illusion. It was all an illusion. And that's where Maya comes in. Maya is the illusion that these things are important and that we are not limitless and we can't manifest, but we can. We can manifest many things. I do it all day long. You do it all day long, right? All the time. Like I needed to go to the store, but I needed to drive. I needed someone to drive me there. And then the day was just going weird. And then all of a sudden I was driven to the store and I don't even know how it happened. Like, I was like, you know, let life like do what life needs to do and just put your energy there. Put your energy there so that you can let go and be happy and do the things that you want to do within your lifetime, right? So use this portal as a lifetime quest to happiness, to bliss, to peace. And don't forget to radiate it to other people. I'm going to head out in like 2 minutes because I'm going to go teach magic to market for divinely led businesses. Just don't forget the world. The world is important. The world needs you. Master your gifts so that you can help more people. But don't forget to manifest in a large way. Don't just manifest for next week. As I said, don't just manifest for next week. Manifest big. Manifest in such a way that it's impossible to not affect lineages afterwards, because you're going to make such an impact that it repeats itself naturally, right? Like many activists, many artists, you hear their name and you just feel the love. You feel the safety. You feel the impact. Manifest in that way. If you were manifesting in that way, think about what you would create. Think about what you would do, what you would say. How would you move? Would you move so fast? Would you move intentionally? Would you speak to the same people? What would you do? It's very different when you start thinking about it like that. But I'm going to get going, friend. Happy anniversary. Thank you. I'm going to head out. I'm glad this was helpful. As someone said, make sure you like the video, share it with your friendsies. And I'm sending you, of course, happy to help. Thank you. Happy to help. Don't forget to come to Z School for the Gifted this week. Also, if you need any candle workings, people who booked today, I'll be getting your candle. Okay, for folks who booked a candle working today, get fucking lit, get ready. I'm gonna be like hammering them out today during this equinox. So y'all's life about to get lit, get ready. If you need a tarot reading, you can book the personal ones or you can do the text tarot. You just do whatever is best for you. I'm here to support, and hopefully I will see you later this week, everyone. Bye.